everybody, and welcome to Exeter St David's railway station. Now today I'm going to be doing something that I have done in the past. I'm going to be travelling around Exeter on the buses. Now last time I did this, it was all very well and good. However, I didn't manage to get on very many of the old stagecoach buses, and I didn't manage to get on very many of the independent buses. I can't even remember if I got on any. So today I thought I'd change that and go and ride on some old buses and some independent buses. So here's my first bus, which is a Stagecoach Southwest Enviro 400. This is the Enviro 400 Trident variant that lots of stagecoach areas have. There are a few companies that have Enviro 400 Tridents, however Stagecoach Tridents are the most iconic. I'm going to be taking this on Route 4 into Exeter City Centre at Cheek Street. The Route 4 and 4A operate between Pennsylvania, St David's Station, Exeter City Centre and Cranbrook, and runs very close to Exeter Airport. Turning onto Sidwell Street, which is one of the main shopping streets in Exeter, along with the High Street and a few other streets in the Exeter City Centre area. Sidwell Street has in the last couple of years been made bus only to reduce journey times on local buses because of traffic in the city centre, and it was also probably to do with saving the environment and all of this carbon emission thing. Anyway, here we are approaching Cheek Street, which is very close to the bus station, and this would be where I would alight from this bus. Now, as much as most tourists, apart from taxi drivers, because taxis are also allowed on the bus-only areas in Exeter City Centre, probably hate the bus-only streets because, well, it makes a car driver's life more difficult because they have to go the long way round and avoid the main street in Exeter City Centre. However, I quite like it, but that's also because I like buses, and it's very good for bus spotting because you get absolutely loads of buses on the high street. Anyway, let's watch this Enviro 400 Trident leave Cheek Street, located next to the bus station, on its way towards Cranbrook. Here I am now boarding my next bus at Exeter bus station, which is a Scania NT30UD ADL Enviro 400 in the classic Stagecoach Beach Ball livery. I'd be taking this as far as the Vosper's garage stop on the outskirts of Sowton, near Honiton Road Park and Ride. This particular Scania was on the Route 9, bound for Honiton via Sidmouth. A few other journeys, which are known as the 9A services, continue past Sidmouth and Honiton and continue along to Seaton.
Every some places are making it, others are messing it.
Here I am passing through the Heavitree area of Exeter. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression that this area is quite posh. Here we are going under the Exeter to Exmouth line, just before we approach the Vosper's garage stop. Here is the Scania N230UD ADL Enviro 400 leaving the Vosper's garage bus stop on its way towards Honiton via Sidmouth. Now, I don't know if it is just a thing with that Scania or if more of the Scanias have it. However, I haven't seen very many Scania Enviro 400s which have black areas around the lights. You used to find this a lot on old Metroline vehicles in London, such as Enviro 400s. I actually quite like this feature, and it makes the bus look very bold and very nice in my opinion. Here is my next bus arriving into the Vosper garage bus stop, and this would be the first of a few independent buses. This was a Greenslades Tours ADL Enviro 200 MMC on the once-a-day Route 356 service from Budleigh Salterton to Exeter City Centre. I think this service was created so people along the route and in Budleigh Salterton don't have to take a bus to Exmouth and then take another bus into Exeter City Centre. This just means they don't have to change along the route. I think the route is also quite handy and serves a few villages that otherwise wouldn't get a bus service. Arriving into the final stop on the 356 service, which is the Paris Street stop, located also very near to Exeter bus station. After this bus went out of service for a couple of hours before doing a return journey on the 356 and then doing another return journey on the 358. Anyway, my next bus once again departed from Exeter bus station and was once again another stagecoach. However, before I made it to the bus station, I spotted this absolutely fantastic Dart Line Optare Solo, which I did manage to get on a bit later on. Here I am now at Exeter bus station boarding my next bus, which was a Stagecoach Beach Bull AGL Enviro 200 on the 7 service bound for Totnes. This bus had old X-City branding, which a few buses in Exeter had, as that was the old brand for local services in Exeter. Now my plan was going to be to get on the ADL Enviro 200 MMC next to this bus and take it as far as the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital on the Route 57 bound for Exmouth. However, the times on the destination board didn't match the new timetable or the Christmas timetable, so I decided to play it safe and get on this number 7 bus instead, since they both went to the hospital. Now I'm quite glad that I got on this bus, because although the 57 service to Exmouth did run, it ran quite late in the end, and I would have only just made my next bus, which would have totally ruined my day. Leaving one of the bus stops for the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital on the main road on Route 7, bound for Totnes. Here is another Scania ADL Enviro 400 going the other way on the Route 2, bound for Exeter bus station. MMT that I was originally going to get on leaves the hospital bus stop on the main road, my next bus heading back into Exeter city centre arrives, which is an Axe Valley Mini Travel VDL DB300 Wright Gemini 2, which used to operate with Yorkshire buses, and before that Arriva London, along with many other VDL DB300s. Now, I've been trying to get on this bus, as well as a few other AVMT buses vehicles, for quite a while, and this is the second time I've been on a VDL DB300, as I managed to get on one in London when it was still with Arriva. Anyway, I'll be taking this on Route 52 into Exeter city centre. This bus originated in Seaton, and runs via Beer and Newton Poppleford to get into Exeter. AVMT buses, VDL DB300 Wright Gemini 2, leaving the Power Street bus stop once again on Route 52 bound for Exeter city centre. Although this bus technically went out of service, there was one more stop on the service, which was a stop on Sidwell Street. However, since everybody got off on Power Street, the bus just went out of service. Here's my next bus now arriving at the Paris Street bus stop, which is a Opta Solo SR operating on the country bus Route 359 bound for Moreton Hampstead. Although I was flagging this bus down like mad, the bus driver almost went past me. But what do you expect? It's operated by Country Bus, and the driver was probably a farmer. Anyway, I'll only be taking this as far as St Thomas railway station. What's so famous about it. However, something tells me there is something historic about it. Here is this country bus, Opta Solo SR, leaving the Exeter St Thomas railway station bus stop on Route 359 bound for Moreton Hampstead. Now, since this 359 service operated by Country Bus was running quite late now, I had to run across the road to get on my next bus, and it was well worth running across the road since my next bus was a vehicle that could possibly be going soon, along with the Enviro 400 Trident, once new electric vehicles get to Stagecoach South West. Here is my next bus arriving into the St Thomas Precinct bus stop, which was one of the amazing MAN 18.240 LF ADL Enviro 300s. Stagecoach were the only operators to order MAN variants of the Enviro 300, and these MAN variants are very nice. The engine sounds quite good as you can actually hear it from the inside, and they have really nice comfy seats. This vehicle was on the 6A service going into Exeter city centre from Oakhampton. Instead of going straight up the high street into the city centre, this service operates via St David's railway station. We are arriving into Exeter St David's railway station, where we meet a number of other local buses and services. here we are arriving into Exeter bus station, which is the terminus point for the 6A service. I believe there is another 6 variant, I can't remember if it's the 6 or the 6B, that runs beyond Oakhampton towards Bude. Now unfortunately there is no direct bus between Exeter and Bude anymore, however you can do it all with Stagecoach if the bus is on time and you make the connections in Oakhampton. Now you may have noticed that the bus was very quiet when I got off, and that was because most of the people who were students from Oakhampton, who were off because the university was closed, were going shopping. Now I am now doing some bus spotting on Sidwell Street since I had a little bit of time before my next bus. Here is my next bus arriving into Sidwell Street, which is an Opta Solo on the Dart Line Route U, which operates around the Union Road area, hence why the letter for this service is U. I'll be taking this as far as the Sylvan Road stop, which is actually quite an awkward stop. This service was actually quite good. It operated around an area of Exeter which has very little bus services. The bus itself was quite nice and was a well-preserved Opta Solo, considering that a lot of independent companies, including Country Bus, have lots of Opta Solos that are absolutely knackered. As well as this, the service was pretty much a lifeline for the local area, since the only other service in the area was the F1 and F2 services operated by Stagecoach, which didn't exactly serve the area that this service served. Passing through the local housing estate. Now I'm not too sure what this area was called, however, this was the poshest part of Exeter I'd ever been in. And although my next service, which was one of the Stagecoach F services, I think it was the F2, came through this area, it didn't actually come right into the estate. So the U service, if you don't have a car or don't like using your car, is actually quite a crucial bus service, and it only runs 3 times a day. Now because the bus stop is literally across the road from this T-junction, the bus driver decided to let me out at the bottom of the T-junction instead of letting me out at the bus stop. Anyway, there goes that Opta Solo back into Exeter city centre. Now speaking of Opta, here is a brand new Opta Solo SR on the route F2 bound for South Street. I'll be taking this back to South Street in Exeter city centre. This vehicle was actually quite nice because it was brand new, however it was an Opta Solo SR, so it was quite boring and it had one of the new Mercedes engines which sound extremely dull and aren't as good as the old Cummins engines.
The next stop is High Street.
Here I am arriving into South Street, stop 42, which is where this service terminated and is where I pick up my next bus service. This stop is at the other end of the main shopping street and is at the complete opposite end to Sidwell Street. Here's my next bus arriving on the route S, which was a standard ADL Enviro 200. I'll be taking this right across the other side of the city to Wanford Little. Arriving at Wanford Little. Now there was a Dennis Stark SLF Claxton Pointer 2 here, however this was on the route R, which is the Rufford Road Circular, and was not my next bus. My next bus was a ADL Enviro 200 MMC on the route H, bound for St David's Railway Station. Although I could have taken the Dennis Stark into Exeter city centre and changed onto another bus and still made my train, it was just easier to avoid the Dennis Stark. I'm sorry that I did that, however I just needed to get home. Anyway, for some reason Stagecoach seemed to paint their oldest buses in the newest livery and their newest buses in the oldest livery. So for example, that Dennis Stark was in the new Stagecoach local livery and this new Enviro 200 MMC was in the old Stagecoach Beach Ball livery. How strange. Anyway, I'll be taking this bus right across through Exeter city centre to Exeter St David's Railway Station, which is the terminus of the route H. Departing the main bus stops at the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital. Just for short, I'll call it the Wanford Hospital. The Wanford Hospital is absolutely massive and is very confusing since there's about 10 bus stops, not including the ones that I got off at earlier on the main road. However, just like the majority of hospitals that get a bus service, we got stuck because of ambulances parked in the way. Anyway, just as I was leaving, a Dartline Opta Solo SR, which was in the Wanford Park and Ride livery, was also leaving. I'd never seen one of these Dartline Wanford Park and Ride buses before, and it looked very strange. Now, I did see it on the bus tracker and I was going to go on it, however, it was just one of the standard Mercedes versions and wasn't the nice Cummins version. Now, I don't really get the point of the Wanford Park and Ride. It's basically a duplicate of all of the other services in the Digby and Sowton area and just goes to existing park and ride sites. However, it probably does help the hospital quite a bit. I went on earlier on its return journey towards Seaton. Here we are also passing Exeter bus station, which actually looked quite busy, and there were a few interesting buses there. Here we are on Sidwell Street once again for the final time, outside some very brutalist buildings. Now I do quite like brutalist buildings, however these low-rise versions are pretty horrible and aren't very nice at all. Passing the Guildhall shopping centre. Although it's the main shopping centre and features some of the most iconic shops in Exeter, I think that this is the rubbish one out of the two. I personally think that the Princess A shopping centre is much nicer and much better. However, they are both pretty good. Here we are passing Exeter Central Railway Station, which also gets a handful of bus services just like Exeter St David's and Exeter St Thomas. Speaking of St David's, here we are arriving back at Exeter St David's railway station. Here I am now back at St David's railway station. Anyway, as this ABL Enviro 200 MMC leaves en route H, once again bound for Soughton, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everybody who has stayed until the end of the video, and I hope to see you all in the next one for another great adventure. Bye everyone!